no African country has been spared off with respect to coronavirus. And I mean every African country has been hit hard with COVID-19. Well, how about our nature? Nature is a miracle where we have to keep, maintain, and depend on. How would nature become after COVID-19? Well, I have a special guest in the studio I'll be digging deep with here on Hard Talk. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah. And when I return, we'll do more talk on Hard Talk.
Mommy, there's no question that drinks are fridge no one. Normally they say dear Diana Mama no guzu.
Mira, how are you? Intete bi na ba fridge ni mu na eja. Me paper no mo amankwa. Mira, yeah. Vim means soy milk and okra. E my latest discovery. It is nutritious and rich in vitamins for body growth, vitality and development. Adio won so e wo Vim means soy milk and wanna say it comes in different flavors. Original, banana, multigrain, and chocolate. And Mira, where do you know? Hey, ready? I'm on coming for two form.
Daddy, yeah, nice.
Smooth.
Dear Vero, I am in love with someone who doesn't love me at all. Despite the fact that I have a man who is ready to battle the devil just that I am happy, but I don't love him back. Dear Vero, what should I do?
And many other stories I will discuss on my story. My name is Rockson, the host of the most talked about show on TV and social media. On my story, we get to read letters containing real life issues and happenings of persons in various forms of relationships, be it husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, parents and children, friends, etc. And with the help of my experience and carefully selected guests.
Marriage is an institution where you don't graduate. You know, once you go in, it comes with its own challenges.
Try to know yourself very well, your strengths and your weaknesses. Then you now start having your daydream about the husband you want to have in future.
And in such instances, the men also have to know how to set the mood. So my wife is like, okay, so you dim the lights, maybe you have some scented candles, you are playing some sweet, cool music.
If you are my sister, I will tell you to divorce the guy.
So are you going to say she should go ahead and divorce?
Yes, for the safety of the child.
Because immediately they are hurt. What comes into their hearts, if nobody stands there, they can act immediately.
Actually, even if you're not married, you're not even supposed to have illegal sickness.
We get to find profound solution to every letter that is worth of my attention. My story is a program that touches the very core of our existence. Join me this 11 Monday at 8 p.m. on EP Radio TV and Timpani TV as we get to read thought-provoking letters and ask mind-boggling questions. My name is Rockson. Make a date with me on my story.
Hi, welcome back, and I'll talk with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah. COVID-19 has hit us hard. Our politics, our economy, even our religion, our health. Well, let's find out some key questions. Let's beg for some few answers here on Hard Talk. My guest is Rockson. He happens to be the communication director for Institute for Environment and Public Health. Sir, it's good to have you.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much. Thank you.
I'm so pleasant to have you in my studios.
Great.
Let's talk a little bit about your institution, where you're coming from.
Right, Institute for Sustainable Environment and Public Health.
Okay.
Our concern is about how we protect our environment and what is in the environment. We're looking at the aquaculture. We are looking at the human behavior. We're looking at the lands and forestry and how it relates to nature and health. So basically, we go into what is around the world.
Okay. Since when have you, did you start with this establishment?
Oh, it has been there for 3 years now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Running from Kumasi or Accra?
Accra.
Oh, Accra. Let's talk about COVID-19, the environment before this coronavirus. And during this era, how is our environment responding? And mind you, human being is part of the environment.
Yeah. We all have been together. The world has enjoyed all the favorites that we could have. But all of a sudden, we had this COVID-19 hit in Wuhan. So the Americans were teasing them, or there's a Chinese virus and Wuhan virus. And surprisingly now it's everywhere. So now become a pandemic, no endemic again. Because the world never knew how it's going to be. If we are taking precaution, I think we wouldn't have experienced what we are going through. Now the world has become so scary because of this coronavirus. This coronavirus, there's a lot of perception to it. People think that it's a created situation to create jobs for others. Some also think that it's by nature. Spiritualists also believe that it's a divine punishment to humanity, because humanity might have sinned against the Almighty or the ruler of the world or the creator. So looking around the perception that surrounds the COVID-19, scientists are also doing their possible best to do further research. In Africa, we cannot boast of science, but we can boast of herbal medicine, because in the ancient days to date, Africans have dwelled on herbal plants.
Before you dig into the herbal medicine, let's talk a little bit about the mindset of the African. How has it been in the wake of COVID-19, the perception, the thinking of an African? Do we think it's there, or we think it's not?
Right. Some assume it as a funny ridiculous, and people feel like maybe it's the government have told us not to go here, not to do this and that. Some are taking it from a traditional perception. Some are taking it from a political perspective. Some are taking it into a different understandings, which really you can feel the tail of it. But the point is that the ignorance is much more higher on our continent, because we lack certain things and we dwell on certain beliefs. Like there was an interview that covers some fishermen, and then what they were saying that this is a disease meant for the rich, not for the poor. So they care not less, because when they enter into the sea, they are washed down and they don't have any effect to that.
Salty water.
Yes. So that is their belief. Some have so many implications, how they feel about the situation. So how will it be possible for you to let a person understand the disease, the spread, and all that?
Governments and leaders in Africa, in your estimation, do you think we have done enough in changing the mindset of our people with respect of this virus?
I can just say we've done so much, but the minimal situation is can be realized in Africa, because the disease is not spreading that fast here. It could be based on the fact that we really don't have proper data or system to get us all the fast tracking of the disease. Because how many people have we tested so far? We haven't gone that far. Some are on the slow pace in Africa. But I think that in all, there are certain things governments did not take it so serious from the onset. When the disease broke up, we were just doing our own normal thing.
And the we is Africa or Ghana?
Ghana, for instance, we were relaxed. We weren't so curious until we realized that they say somebody has got some. During that time, people were moving from China to Ghana, moving from all these countries that are leading in the COVID-19, where we're having serious situation. And they were just moving in. So the disease might have entered into the system already without we checking it. But we have to take precaution. We have to take thought into this. That whenever there is an instance of situation, we need to be very conscious about it and take immediate response to that, because we fail to take immediate response. If we had taken immediate response, it would have rather minimize the situation. But it took us time before we started putting things together.
People have questioned the leadership style of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as they compare the season of Ebola in Africa. Even we never contracted any Ebola case in Ghana as to what it is now, as coronavirus visited us since March 12. But we have had Dr. Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic, come to compare crisis Dumso at Mahame's period to crisis coronavirus in Nana Addo's period, and sought to elevate
sometimes I find a bit disturbing when I want to make comment on political issues, because in Ghana here, when somebody is doing something which is not good and you comment on it, you become an opponent to the situation. But when you praise the person, then you become you know, a loud person. They praise you, they like you. But it is good to have good critics. I've been a very good critic when it comes to situation. The vice president situation, I see it as a mistaken parody. Why do you compare Dumso to this when we are in a critical situation where lives are at stake? Dumso didn't kill people, but coronavirus has killed people, and it has caused a lot of threats, and it has caused people to be humiliated. People cannot live their normal lives. But in a time when there was Dumso, there was alternative like having a generator or solar lights.
But we also have people who got killed because they lighted some generator, etc.
If you light the generator, it might be shortcomings or mistakes. But I'm not interested in the comparative situation of what the vice president said relating situation to Dumso and that of what of it. But it shouldn't have been a yardstick, because we're in a crucial moment.
You think that's
it's an unserious situation. It's unserious. A very serious person wouldn't take this as an analysis. And I know, you know, that sometimes the vice president want to create sensations to make people feel, you know, laugh and smile a bit. But in crucial times like this, we don't make such comments and we don't pay that. Even though they are working, if you see the president, he's always serious on his body language. When he's preparing himself to come and announce situation, you see how curious and how serious the president is. Because you see that thing to be very serious. And he wants Ghanaians to be careful and stuff. So this is where I will see the president himself being so serious, while the vice president become a bit, I don't know, I don't want to use a word, but I want to keep my word.
Okay.
You understand?
So
because
assessing the leadership skill, leadership in crisis, and analyzing what His Excellency the President has done so far. I will say that he's doing what you need to do. He's doing, and you know, he doesn't politicize his words like the way Vice President is trying to politicize situation. Because you can't relate. Why don't you relate Ebola to COVID-19, but rather do so to what do you call it, COVID-19? It shows how unserious his presentation is. Because I don't think the president will play around situations like this. And as a second man of the land, he must know that every word that comes out of him should be very serious. And this is where politicians have to stop those gimmicks. We have to stop those gimmicks. Because in times like this, we need to be very serious as citizens. Because the president already has made me to know that we should not be spectators, but we should be citizens. And we should make sure that we contribute. That's why everybody is so serious, working hard to ensure that the president's words are taken. So if you bring in this one, it becomes
becomes a situation you can't describe it. We are not running our economies based on policies. We are running our economies based on political ideologies. Some of these ideologies sometimes doesn't give better results in the future, because now, you know, whether you are weak or strong as in economic wise, you still have some responsibility. Our president should remember his word that Ghana beyond aid. This is the time for him to spark up his vision to say that, look, we must go beyond aid, because during COVID-19 everybody is minding his own business. So let Ghana mind his business. Government should be bold enough to come out to say that we are so and so people who have presented this medicine and we are believing in them. Food and Drugs Authority, the Ministry of Health, should do a sort of consensus and partner with these herbal practitioners, you know, to assist them on technicalities to get a good or better result. Because when Ghana gets this time, we are aware about 15 companies from these herbal companies. They have done some productions and the product is good. There is one I am taking myself. Okay. There's one drug and it's working. You know, somebody had a challenge. We were feeling funny way. As the challenge was on, suspected, but you know, he took the medicine and it has worked well. Wow. Yes, and the person is well now. So we believe in that if some situation can change and can get us a result, let's encourage them to do it. And I believe, President, this is your time. Be the second person in Africa to challenge the world that, look, we have it. And we have the capacity to prove to the world that we have it. It's not the time for we to allow the Americans always this or that. We should also take it to them.
When I return, I'll be finding out from you if you are a religious person and you go to church, and what you make of the impact of COVID on our religion. How about the economy and also on politics? We'll be right back. Just stay with us here on Tumpani TV and EP Radio TV. And this is Hard Talk with Kofi Asante Mensah, the cream of creams.
Mommy, there's no question that drinks are fridge no one. Normally we say dear Diana Nama Muguzu.
Mira, how are you? In that you be number fridge in the moon, me prepare your Amankwa. Mira, vein means soy milk and okra. And my latest discovery. It is nutritious and rich in vitamins for body growth, vitality, and development. I do want so I vein means soy milk. And when I say it comes in different flavors, original. Banana, multigrain, and chocolate. And Mira, where do you know? Hey, I'm on coming for 2 form.
Nice.
Smooth.
My people, how on that day waiting they play. I hope so that it take life easy because life na jeje, no go do pass yourself.
I show a salute. Now me that they call Evelyn Leo, and as you they see me so, I they bring you street vibes based on what people got to yarn for area.
Now me be MC Samedi, the doctor of comedy. The person where they bring you now the funny videos and every funny visuals with their social media.
As you hear my voice so, now me go take you on this ride where I take be your driver, waiting or you poor people they call chauffeur. EP House of Pigeon, where we go take cruise inside EP Radio TV. Inside this ride, plenty laughter go.
You know, say in those days, now dog, now do all this kind of thing.
You say waiting.
Money good though, but life now one.
Be faithful to one man. Even though the man no get
laughter na better medicine and na so dem take talk. This medicine will no get dosage. Don't forget say this program na strictly in pidgin English. Dinner is ready to be served. How you go take talk for pidgin?
Sister food done.
All you need do now just to pick 1 or 2 things put together and it go make sense for your ears. And tune into our station for EP Radio TV and Tumpani TV every Sunday by 8 p.m. Dear Vero, I am in love with someone who doesn't love me at all.
Despite the fact that I have a man who is ready to battle the devil just that I am happy, but I don't love him back. Dear Vero, what should I do?
And many other stories I will discuss on my story. My name is Rockson, the host of the most talked about show on TV and social media. On my story, we get to read letters containing real life issues and happiness of persons in various forms of relationships, be it husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, parents and children, friends, etc. And with the help of my experience and carefully selected guests.
Marriage is an institution where you don't graduate. You know, once you go in, it comes with its own challenges.
Try to know yourself very well, your strengths and your weaknesses. Then you now start having your daydream about the husband you want to have in future.
And in such instances, the men also have to know how to set the mood. So my wife is tired. Okay, so you dim the lights. Maybe you have some scented candles. You are playing some sweet, cool music.
If you are my sister, I will tell you to divorce this guy.
So are you going to say she should go ahead and divorce?
Yes, for the safety of the child.
Because immediately they are hurt. What comes into their hearts, if nobody stands there, they can act immediately.
Actually, even if you're not married, you're not even supposed to have indigo sickness.
We get to find profound solution to every letter that is worth of my attention. My story is a program that touches the very core of our existence. Join me this 11 Monday at 8 p.m. on EP Radio TV and Tumpani TV as we get to read thought-provoking letters and ask mind-boggling questions. My name is Veronica Akon Rockson. Decade it with me on my story.
It's good to have you back. It's Hard Talk on Tumpani Television and EP Radio TV. On all our social media handles, we are live. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and I have my guest Isaac Rockson, who happens to be the Communication Director for Institute for Environment and Public Health. And we are still talking COVID impact on our health and everything. Now we want to talk a little bit religion. Do you go to church, eh?
I do.
Which church?
I don't want to disclose my church.
Very well, but I'm wondering why the rate at which the African or the Ghanaian believe in spirituality. I'm wondering how come we have not heard any pastor pray for a patient for him or her to be healed in this virus or this pandemic.
Right. I see it as an unfortunate situation because we know Ghanaian prophets have been very loud all over the years. They could predict the death of people. They could say a whole lot of things. But today, they couldn't see there was going to be a disease that will silence the whole world. I am shocked. After this COVID-19, I will believe that there will be no prophet in this country, even in Africa. Here tells you that African prophets are business people. They are gospel business people. They were selling the gospel for money. And the most disgracing and disgusting situation is when the COVID was there, the president called for lockdown. They've been crying. The Bible says freely it was given, freely must you also what? Give. But the pastors and the prophet were not thinking about the members who are going through lockdown, suffering and crying for needs and calling for foods. But rather they were putting numbers for people to donate money and do tithing and offering. How? What kind of business is this? After this COVID-19, I think the men of God today will be revised. I said they will be what? They will be revised. Some of them will not talk at all. Because when they talk, some of us will tell them to keep quiet. To keep quiet.
Couldn't it be that God hid it from them?
God will never hide anything from any serious man of God. God is an invisible God and reveal things to his people. You see, the only way God deals with people is about righteousness. The holiness of life gets you closer to God. And today, if you look at the demeanor of the kind of pastors and prophets, especially the prophets in this country, they are not prophets of God. They are prophets of money. They worship the God of mammon, the God of money. That is why when you go, everything they do is about money. They don't even preach about salvation. They sell stuff in the church in order to get money. So when they get it, they make themselves big and huge. That is why I'm not surprising. I don't want to make comment of somebody I don't make about because he is in a situation. Because one day I had a problem with a look. You did this and that and that, and that is it. You see, Ghanaians now have to open their eyes, spiritually and physically. We must go back for the gospel. We need teachers of the gospel. We need pastors who teach the people to open their eyes, not to be confused by these false prophets. Today, who is a prophet in Ghana? There's no prophet.
No, we have Obinim.
Come on.
Mensah Otabels and all of them are there.
Mensah Otabel, they are teachers. But though they say they are the prophet of God, they call themselves that they are nation prophets. They have no solution. I am believing that there should be somebody like Elijah of our time. Elisha of our time.
And you think we don't have some?
We don't have it. We don't. If we have it now, there would have been a declaration. And that declaration would have taken effect. They don't have God in them. They have deceived the nation.
Are you saying the prophets do not have God in them?
Some of them do not have God in them. And it's majority. They are babblers, noise makers. Noise makers. And you see, people have been outwitted in their minds. Follow them. Majority of them, I'm sorry to say on air that they've been fooled. They have been fooled to that extent. And today, they are all quiet and silent because they did not have any gospel, proper gospel for the people.
Okay.
If you have the proper gospel, you will teach the people to know God and to understand God. And in times like this, God reveals himself to the people.
Let's talk a little bit about politics and how from January till today we've not been able to actively campaign just because of coronavirus. How would it impact our political scene even as we prepare for elections, the new voter register, the NPP and the NDC brouhaha and all of that?
It's a bit critical. Very critical because the laws of Ghana does not have any provision for that if election have to be postponed or not. And if election have to be postponed, then it means that a certain president, one way or the other, have to step down. You understand? For a leadership to take care, for we to prepare for the election ahead of time. And you see, the disease has caused a lot of harm than good. And it is time we need to learn to make provisions not only for electoral processes, but make provisions for other things. Because as at now, you can't campaign. If you want to campaign, then you have to open the churches. So that we'll go and pray so that God would listen to our voice. You understand? That isn't going to be easy because electoral commission itself cannot work effectively. And a lot of things cannot happen as we are heading towards December 7th. So maybe in the future there could be a sort of provision that we need to make.
We have to amend the constitution.
Amend the constitution, but not in this shortest possible time, which is not possible. One may feel to be cheated in court, and one may feel that one will have advantage over the other. So we have to leave the law to take its course as it is, because Ghana has been a country that the rest of Africa look up to. So when Ghana is affected one way or the other, or issues have been mishandled, it will affect the credence of our political achievement, our democratic credence. So we need to make sure, and I will advise the two political parties not to be too political on this trying times, because in these trying times there is a lot of revelations, pending around the clock, which politicians themselves know. There are a lot of dicey conditions And we need to be very careful handling our security system, handling our legal system, handling our everything revolving around the heat of the political situation in our country.
In your estimation, you think when we have to review the constitution, so it makes way for election not in 2020 but 2021?
Yes, 2021 after elections, we have to do provisions for future conditions that could...
Do you see we can do elections this year, honestly?
If we want to do election, yes, we can do. We can. What we can do is that there are a lot of machines that can sanitize the whole body, that can sanitize the machines that we use. So when it passes through that, it can help us to be able to do that. And we are hoping and believing that sooner or later there will be a solution that could help us be engaged in not aggressive political campaigns, but we can have a way out to do the voting. And that way out could make things possible for the country to run its elections.
I want to do, if I really understand what you are saying, you mean to say there can be a machine to sanitize your whole system?
Your whole system.
So you can go ahead and do
and vote. Because when the machine is fixed, there are machines, it's fixed, you pass through it, and then it will sanitize your whole body, kill the virus. So when I pass through it, I can now go, because the machines have to be sanitized itself. The voting machine have to be sanitized, so that the people who want to vote to can pass through the machine and go and vote. That will help us, and then
let's analyze this. You know the speed at which we cast our ballot here in our country since '92. When there is on election day, there's a whole lot of mess that happens. Sometimes staff delay at various electoral venues. It can be vehicle delays, so many things. But even in the process of voting, you know what goes on, how ineffective or how the tortoise process we go through in terms of voting. If we add a system where a voter or electorate would have to go through a sanitization process before going to cast a ballot, are we going to turn it just after one vote?
The sanitization system, when you enter into the machine to sanitize your whole body, so your hands, everything is sanitized from your head to your toe. It's sanitized. Your shoe, whatever, your dress, all is sanitized. So if you have the virus on any part of your body, you are all right.
And how effective is this machine that it won't break down? Because we have witnessed BVO machines being break down.
The machine, the machine uses water and chloride and UV in order to produce the system to kill the virus on you.
But who will bear the cost?
Government have to bear the cost, because elections have its budget, so they should make budget for that, so that they can use that system to rather, what do you call it, to keep up.
In your honest view, if we would have to postpone election to next year and get the machines to do voting this year, which one would you go for?
I wouldn't say which one would I go for.
Okay.
But presumably, I think that we have to consider pros and cons, the challenges that might culminate, and either it will bring up a positive effect on the economy or the negative effect on our economy. If both sides are critically considered, then we will know whether this system will help or not. But I will say that as it stands, this political two parties has been strong in rivaling themselves in crucial times like this. For all this while, there has been suspicions where one electoral commission was removed unceremoniously by certain accusations, and then later we have to opt for a new one when the other people say, oh, this woman coming is already in bed with the ruling government, and so on and so on, and keeps on saying the NDCs have an issues about the EC being in bed. So how possible, if what they are saying, if it is so, how credible would the election be? So there's a doubt surrounding the EC itself.
Somebody will say, since 92 we've had doubts about the EC.
Let me tell you, because of the removal of the EC and replace a new EC, you understand? When you read between the lines, you see, when you talk about politicians, you are not at peace. You're not at peace. If people want to speak truth from clean heart and clean minds, there are so many things that politicians have to be straightforward. Both sides have to be fair to the citizens and of the state, because whatever they do, they can sit down. They can sit down and make proper arrangements, come into consensus, and make sure that those consensus it works. It's not that the consensus should favor one to suffer, but it should come to favor everybody. The question is, if the leadership of today believe they have done so well, they should not fear. If the leadership of the past believe that they have something to share with the Ghanaians, that the Ghanaians can buy in it, they should be confident themselves.
When you have comments like one from Boachi Jan, who says if the EC goes ahead to organize the new voter register, it will bring civil war in our community, and people like Ofosu Ampofo will say we really need you to stop compiling new voter register, because what you are using as a yardstick to register these people, you are going to disenfranchise people or voters. And McMahon comes up and say whether we do new voter register or not, we are going to win, because the EIU report even declares it for us. Do you see that there can be a possible civil war if elections are not organized this year?
Why must there be a civil war? It is his perception, but he is just anticipating that when things are not done the way it's supposed to be done, people's heart will not feel well. You understand? To me, if leadership believes it have achieved so much, it should be relaxed. You see, when they made a comment against the EC, it was expected that the EC should respond. So when it becomes like that, things are not well, that's not sound. Allow the EC to play its course, answer to itself, whoever the matter referred to, it goes. But I must also tell the opposition NDC that they should also relax their body language. You understand? To certain situations, because they are smelling rats of situation. And then EC should be up and doing, by making things more open and clearer for the individuals to have confidence in the EC. Because we have had series of elections which have been peaceful, even though there has been misunderstandings and frictions from opposition to the incumbents, but yet still elections have been peaceful. So we expect the EC to conduct a very successful and peaceful elections without any shambles. You understand? Like what happened at Wagon. You understand? Because what happened at Wagon, it's an eyesore to Ghana's democracy. Ghana has won the heart of the world, seeing us as a white Africans. And so if they see Ghana as the gateway to Africa, we should not twat that credence, but we should rather embellish it, make it more better off, so that the world will be proud of Ghana. I love Ghana. Everywhere I travel to, I respect Ghana and I love Ghana, I preach Ghana, I eat Ghana, I do Ghana. Everything is Ghana. Please, the EC, the political parties, the sitting government, the leading opposition party, they should all come together to find a good, possible way of making Ghana proud than to tarnish the credence of Ghana.
Do you think this is possible?
Yes, they can do. They can do. Just that UC should not be rigid and make sure that they become stony-hearted. If UC prove to be stony-hearted or rigid, then it rather confuses the opposition not to trust them. They should be flexible. open up to everybody. Every political party participating in the election.
Looking at their posture since Jane Mensah took office, do you then see that the institution as chaired by Jane Mensah is an institution that would be quite flexible to handle opposition's comments?
You see, to me, I don't want to speak like a politician, but I'll speak like a governance expert. What I'm saying is that the EC should be in position to open up.
They tell us they are an independent body. You
but
don't tell us what to do.
Sometimes people reading their comments, their strategies and everything, it sounds awkward. It's not clearly sounding well. You see, I'm speaking as a Ghanaian, and I don't want to touch areas where you can be tagged as this or that. Because in this country, people's eyes don't want to open. People always want to close their eyes. When the truth is there, they say don't talk about it. EC should open up. EC should not be rigid. It should listen to individuals' plea so that he will cooperate with the individuals.
Maybe a final one, maybe under 30 seconds. How is this COVID impacting on our mental and psychological effectiveness as World Africans and even Ghanaians, in our marriages, in our relationship, our psyche?
In fact, emotionally, everybody is down emotionally. People are not well off and situations are not good. People's pockets are stuck, nothing in there. So people have their own grievances. But it's a situation which is not created by anybody. All the support people can give it to the needy ones and the weaker ones, people should continue. People should also support the COVID-19 fund. Those that think they have enough should do that. Philanthropists should do their best. Companies, institutions, continue. And the funds too must be used judiciously. The funds that are coming should be able to fix the purpose to which people had the heart to support it. And to me, it should be accounted appropriately to the people so that the people have confidence in those they are managing it.
A pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and I have been interacting with the Communication Director for Institute for Environment and Public Health. And it's been quite interesting, very revealing, and thank you for staying there for us. What goes around comes around, and like I used to say, the chameleon changes color to match the earth, but the earth never changes color. Have a great day.
You know, government has to employ people. Government has to employ people. You see, the more we do that, we continue to narrow, you know, the space for people to get more creative. I have said that as a people, we have to be first and foremost responsible to ourselves.